So the movie begins, and we are introduced to Carol. She works as a caretaker in an old age home, and she is very attached to one man there, like he is her father. Then one day, that man passes away, and Carol completely loses interest in the old age home. She decides to leave her job and switch, and she gets a new job as a private caretaker, basically someone who takes care of a person inside their own house. On her way to this new job, she stops at a gas station, which already feels very strange. The shop there is designed like an old house, and outside there are unusual symbols drawn with red powder. Caroline looks at it for a moment, but does not think much about it and continues toward the address where she is supposed to work. The house turns out to be very large, but only 2 people live there, Valet and her husband. Valet's husband is now paralyzed, and Caroline is hired to take care of him. Valet mentions that they had only recently bought this house. They had been trying for a long time, but no one was willing to work there. So what is the reason behind this? Valet does not even explain properly, because she is afraid that Caroline might also leave like the others. Then she gives Caroline the master key of the house, which can open every door. After that, Caroline notices something very odd. There are no mirrors anywhere in the entire house. Valet gives a strange explanation, saying they never really needed mirrors. Anyway, time passes, and it is shown that Caroline is doing her job very well. One day, when she comes to the garden with Benjamin, Valet sends her to the attic to bring some items. At that moment, she notices a hidden door inside the attic. When she tries to open it using the master key, it does not move at all. She comes down and tells Valet about it. Valet says, "We don't know either. Since we bought this house, we have tried opening that door many times, but it never opens." Caroline ignores it again and continues her routine. Life keeps going normally. One night during a storm, she suddenly wakes up because of a strange noise. The sound is coming from Benjamin's room. When she goes there, she is shocked to see Benjamin is not on his bed and not even in his usual chair, but he is paralyzed. He cannot even walk. Caroline becomes even more confused, and then she hears strange sounds from outside the window. When she looks out, she sees Benjamin trying to escape, but he cannot balance himself on the roof, and there, he falls down. Valet and Caroline quickly rush outside to help him, and Valet tells Carol, "Go inside and bring the wheelchair first." When she goes to Benjamin's room to get the wheelchair, she sees a big black message written on the bedsheet saying, "Help me." Seeing this, she becomes shocked. She realizes something is definitely wrong here, but she cannot tell Valet. She is in a hurry, so she hides the bedsheet and comes out with the wheelchair. The next morning, when the lawyer of this house arrives, Carol takes him to her room. She already knew this lawyer, and she was the one who helped him get this job. She wants to tell him that something feels very wrong here. She even shows him the bedsheet on which "help" was written last night. But the strange thing is, now there is nothing written on it. She gets confused again and cannot explain anything to the lawyer. The lawyer thinks she might be stressed, so he gives her his card and says, "Whenever you need me, just call." After he leaves, Carol feels even more disturbed. She becomes confused. First all those strange night incidents, then the basement door opening by itself, and now the "help me" message disappearing from the bedsheet. All these signs clearly suggest that something paranormal is happening in this house. Like something very creepy is hidden here. She starts thinking that the locked attic room must be holding all the secrets. So she takes a flashlight and goes up to the attic again. When she reaches the hall, she realizes someone has blocked the passage. She removes the wax ceiling that was closing the path from inside, and then the attic door finally opens after being stuck for many days. Inside, she sees many strange things lying around. A skull kept inside a jar, an unborn baby, many photos of different people, and other disturbing items. She realizes it must be some kind of black magic ritual. Meanwhile, Valet, who had been searching for Caroline in the house for a while, hears noises and comes closer. Scared, Caroline hides there. We can clearly see that Valet notices her hiding, but she does not say anything. She leaves without reacting. Caroline finds a recording there at the end and takes it with her. At night, she goes to meet her friend. She is extremely scared because of everything. She wants to understand what is happening. Her friend, who knows about magic and such things, explains that this is actually hoodoo magic. It was used in old times for personal gain, but now very few people even know about it. Caroline starts connecting everything and realizes it is all linked. Only Valet is left, and that is probably why there are no mirrors in the house. So while leaving, she takes a mirror from the house, and just as she suspected, Valet becomes extremely angry when she sees the mirror. When Valet reacts angrily, Caroline asks why, and Valet finally reveals everything, the truth about the house being haunted. She explains that before them, the house belonged to a servant couple who practiced voodoo magic. They used to perform rituals in the attic. When the owners of the house discovered that the couple was doing voodoo on their children, they burned them alive right there in the attic. After that, no one knows what truly happened. Slowly, members of that family started dying one by one, and only 2 children remained, who were also affected by the voodoo. Later, this house was bought by Valet and her husband. She also says that whenever mirrors are placed in the house, the reflections show the shadows of that couple. Valet also tells Carol that people who came here earlier advised her about protecting herself from the negative energy of this place. They said that if special positive rituals are done on red-colored soil, it can keep the negative energy away. Hearing this, Caroline remembers that at the gas station, she saw red powder outside as well. Valet also reveals a major truth, that her husband Benjamin is not actually paralyzed. Because of the hoodoo magic and negative energy in the house, Benjamin's mind is trapped in a state where he believes he is paralyzed, and he behaves exactly like that. He still cannot accept his real condition. Now Caroline Caroline, who came here to treat Benjamin, feels that instead of modern treatment, old traditional methods might work better. So she visits a hoodoo expert, explains everything about Benjamin and the house, and returns with items and instructions. She starts treating Benjamin. Now, whenever she comes at night and applies the ritual on him, he actually starts speaking due to the effect of the magic. The strange thing is, he does not say he is afraid of any spirit. Instead, he tells Caroline, "Please save me only from my wife, Valet." Hearing this, a shocked Valet appears and clearly shows her affection for him. Caroline and Benjamin stay silent for the moment, and Valet does not confront Caroline because Caroline had already removed all the magical items and hidden them. Now, after learning the full truth, Caroline decides the next day to meet the lawyer who had given her his business card. She tells him everything about the voodoo, Benjamin, Valet, and the attic room. She also tells him she met a hoodoo expert, and after the ritual on Benjamin, he said, "Save me from Valet." The lawyer still cannot believe what Caroline is saying. That is why Caroline shows him the gas. He takes her to the station where he had seen the red dust line. He feels that this line must be connected to hoodoo magic somehow, and maybe here they could find someone who could make the lawyer believe in hoodoo magic. When they go inside, they meet a very old lady who is in a very strange state at that moment. When Caroline asks her about hoodoo magic, the old woman tells her that this line is drawn for people who practice hoodoo magic. Those who practice hoodoo magic can never cross this line. Caroline asks why people use voodoo magic. The woman explains that most of the time, voodoo magic is done for personal gain. But the most dangerous type of voodoo magic that many people perform is to stay alive forever. Through voodoo magic, they transfer their soul into a younger body. And whenever they grow old again, they repeat this process again and again. The souls of the people whose bodies they take over end up dying inside the old body. And that is how those who use voodoo magic continue getting new lives. After hearing all this, Caroline realizes that Valet wanted to do something similar as well. She quickly takes the lawyer and rushes back to the mansion. Once there, she puts the red dust brought from the old lady onto Valet and notices that Valet is no longer able to remove it. So she quickly goes inside the house and manages to get Benjamin out. She wants to take him away from there. But by that time, Valet has already locked the house with a heavy lock, and Caroline does not have the key. To save him, she locks Benjamin back inside a room and comes out to search for the key. When she goes inside, she hears strange noises again. She remembers that these were the same sounds the hoodoo magic expert had played for her earlier. They were some kind of spells. She then goes to the record player where all of this was being stored. There, she finds many of her own photos, along with the lawyer's pictures and even her ring. Seeing this, she is completely shocked, and the biggest twist of the story hits her. The hoodoo magic this time was not targeting anyone else, but Caroline herself. They were doing it. She also realizes that the lawyer is working with Valet, and bringing the lawyer into this job was all part of the plan. These people wanted to perform hoodoo magic on Caroline in order to transfer Valet's soul into her body. Just as Caroline is about to understand everything and run away, the lawyer comes from behind and grabs her throat. They drag her to the place where the hoodoo ritual is meant to happen. In a struggle to save herself, Caroline fights back and pushes Valet. She throws her down the stairs, breaking Valet's foot. Then she goes into the room upstairs where the hoodoo magic ritual is happening. And as soon as she gets in, she calls 911 using her friend's help and tells them that two people are trying to perform hoodoo magic and take control of their bodies. After that, to protect herself, she throws the bricks she brought from the fuel station all around her and starts chanting a spell she learned. She believes this will save her, but Valet sees her and starts laughing loudly. She says to her, "You chanted that spell thinking it would save you from us. But actually, that spell was meant to trap you, and by saying it, you have only made your situation worse and made our job easier. And these bricks you surrounded yourself with, they are not protection, they only make it easier for us." Then laughing, Valet holds up a mirror in front of her, and Caroline sees many figures reflected inside it. All those figures, they show that hoodoo magic has already been performed on her at some point. The black lady everyone thought was dead was never actually gone. She had already transferred her soul into other bodies over time. In the end, Caroline sees that same woman suddenly collapses to the ground, and the souls inside Valet's body and Caroline's body begin to switch places. At that moment, all the burning candles go out. It is clear that Valet's plan is complete. Now, inside Caroline's body, Valet stands up and feels extremely satisfied seeing herself. Then she gives the old, broken body of Caroline a strange liquid that makes her completely paralyzed, just like Benjamin. After that, we see Valet approaching the lawyer's body. It is revealed that the lawyer was actually Benjamin all along, and they had taken over his body much earlier. They are happy now because their plan has succeeded again. Now they have a young body, and they will not have to worry about anything for the next 30 to 40 years. While talking, we realize that these two were actually the same caretakers who used to work in this house years ago. Now they approach Valet's old body, meaning Caroline, and say, "We have taken control of your body. You will never be able to prove this to anyone. We controlled you as part of the entire plan. You thought you were going against us and researching hoodoo magic, but in reality, that is exactly what we wanted, for you to research hoodoo magic. Try it, and you will start believing in hoodoo magic. The truth is, hoodoo magic only works on those who believe in it, and you did all the research yourself, which made our job much easier." Suddenly, they hear cars stopping outside, and it turns out the police and Caroline's friend have arrived to help her. Her friend tries to talk to Caroline, but something feels off. Still, she cannot tell anyone that Caroline's body is no longer really Caroline. Caroline is now paralyzed. She is lying lying there, unable to say anything, only looking at her friend with hope. The lawyer then tells Caroline's friend that the whole house has left with Caroline, and now Caroline and he are going to live together in that house. Her friend is confused but does not say anything and leaves. Meanwhile, in the post-credits red scene, we see the real Caroline and the lawyer trapped inside old bodies, looking at each other helplessly. They cannot do anything except watch their fate unfold, and that is basically what the movie shows. It ends here.